Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Unsealed and Revealed. I am your host, Jeff May, and with me, as always, I have our resident sixth scale expert and all-around super spy, Guy Klender. Guy, how you doing, bud?
I am doing great, Jeff. Here in a unique position here.
Yeah, sitting down in a chair. It's very
exactly.
strange.
Yes,
you got it. Of course, we also have our absolutely amazing moderator, Cassidy, over there on the ones and twos, and she will be taking your questions, comments, and concerns through all the live channels that we have here. Cassidy, how's it going?
Pretty good. I am super stoked to be here, as always.
As always, I can tell, and I'm really excited about it. I'm excited to have you here. Now, today, I'm very excited. You may have seen on the little bumper that we have here that we are looking at the Black Widow 6th scale figure from Hot Toys. Now, as you can see, like last week and the previous weeks that we have seen, Guy Klender has been back in the studio, and he is feeling awesome, right, Guy?
I'm feeling great. Absolutely fantastic.
You look fantastic, and
well,
I like
you.
that. And I would like to add that everybody is practicing social distancing and being very safe. We have super producer Sam behind the camera. He is more than 6 feet away. He is wearing a mask. Nobody else is in the studio with Guy, minus Natasha. And as always, of course, we are doing our best to ensure the good health of ourselves and others, and we hope that you are too. Now, that being said, Guy, I'm going to need you to crack this open because we need to take a look at this figure because I just watched this movie last night in preparation.
I did as well. And so I'm very excited to show this off. So let's dive right into it. So from our overhead cam, you can see our outer box, and this is going to be that slide. What we have on the front here is kind of a combination of photograph, a painting, and a bit of that pointillism that you get in a comic book frame when you look up close. When you actually look at the portrait that they've done, it does have that little dot look to it, which is, I think, is fantastic. That Avengers A is where we get that gloss, those little lines that we have on there. And then on the side of the box, we're having the title. We've got a little bit of that gloss in the line, but as they've been doing with all of these, we get our Avengers logo as well as our character logo, that being our Black Widow one there. And we're going to slide out.
There we go.
Like so, and reveal our figure. It's that deep, dark maroon.
That color scheme is really strong on this piece.
Very, very strong. And again, down here, I like that we've been getting the individual logo of each of our Avengers.
That's his branding, baby.
It's
brand
very.
It out.
I dig that they do it. All right, so let's pop off our top cover and take a look at what we have inside. All right, so here is Natasha, aka Black Widow. We have 6 additional hands.
Oh.
Her weaponry, her 2 guns, her base is below. But I want to just take the figure out, and I'm going to set her up on the turntable so you can just see how amazing this figure is as far as design.
Yeah.
Now, let's take a look at that sculpt first. Now, a couple things set this apart. This is the first time that we've seen it where we've done sculpted hair. Okay, before we've had the rooted hair in the figure. This time we're going with sculpt. And there are
I was going to say, I think that's good because I think the sculpted hair has actually gotten really great in the past couple of years too. So that's a good move.
I think that you're absolutely right on that. We've seen really big strides that we get that definition in the individual strands and such, and that's why I want to show off the back here. Is years back the detail really wouldn't be there. It would be quite soft, but here you're really getting it. The other reason is if we had rooted it, her hair is in a very tight ponytail going down. that really wouldn't be possible to do with rooted hair. And also, this is one where there's really a lot of difference in color. She has a hint of that white that's there, or blondish, that's now grown out.
The Infinity War
Exactly.
platinum blonde.
Yep, exactly. That we see. And I was curious when rewatching the film if we would see that on the figure. That there are a few times when that would move around that you would see that color, and indeed it is. And that is completely sculpted on there. What I'm going to do now is actually remove the head so we can take a look at how that is.
You got right to it, huh?
Yeah. Well, what I want to do is show you
God,
how that is. Good. Now, this, as you can kind of see, is a separate attached piece. It's not a removable piece, but it is a softer material, so you are able to move it with the figure. However, it is sculpted in a forward position, so it really drapes over that shoulder nicely. But if in your posing you wanted to kind of have it move backward, it will be able to do that without doing any damage to it or the figure itself. All right, so that's a little bit about the tail. And again, the other reason I did it is to show off. This is the softer neck that we talked about with Leia and one of the other figures, that by doing this, when I do those lower bends, I don't have that big cut seam that you would have.
She looks like a people.
Yes. It's just another bit of added realism there. All right, so that's that there. So now let's take a look. We're going to move our way down because I want to talk about the outfit, and then we're going to do all of our weaponry and such. This is...
Before we do, real quick, I'm so sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
We have a question from the Let Your Geek Sideshow Facebook group. Andrew wants to know, is the ponytail able to be posed?
Andrew, what your question is based on it, like, is there a wire in it for posability? No, but let me show you here. If I wanted to, when I'm turning her head to the side, I will be able to drape it over the back if need be, like so.
Oh, yeah.
But its natural position does lay forward. Again, kind of over. But when you have the head kind of straight onward, it'll have that natural drape over the shoulder.
Yeah. It doesn't have like an elbow in it, but it's still...
No,
sort of
correct. Like I said, it is one that you can manipulate if you need a little bit. All right. So hopefully that answers that question. Cass, are there any, before we start working our way down the base of the figure?
There are a few questions, but I think that they will be answered later on.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah. I was going to say, we might have been a little early on questions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
They want to see the flexibility.
All right. Yeah. So
now I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
You went through all the things. Does she come with a peanut butter sandwich?
No.
No, that's a tragedy.
I know. That would have been a really neat addition. I love that you thinking of what the accessories will be with a figure is always something really fun for me, and I think that's spectacular if she came with a sandwich.
Too, but it's funny too because you showed all the weapons, and I can't wait for you to go through the accessories because it's absolutely fantastic.
Oh yes.
I can't wait to see all of the different things that she comes with because that's really, I mean, aside from the sculpts, like the character of Black Widow really shines with those espionage weapons.
Yes. Well, let's take a look. We're going to work our way down the outfit to show it. So here on the back, she has her, shall we call it a pack, where she keeps her staff there, and we're going to play with that a little bit. But they have even given that a little bit of weathering around the edges. This is not a fresh out of the box. She has worn this and had to have some action in it before. You'll notice that this is a printed, a 3D print onto that fabric, so you can really see those lines pop on it.
Yeah, great.
What makes this neat this time is also, I want to swing around to the front and you'll see that as well, is the little zipper that she has. She has a zip up in all of them. However, now when you talk about how they've each time upping the game and just moving forward and how you can do it, the zipper pull has always been a little large. Now it's actually about half the size that it used to be, and really has a much more realistic.
Yeah, it looks very true.
Yeah, and that's I know that's kind of silly, but it's just one of those unique things, is that you're even getting that super small, and it really shows that attention to detail, which we're more than accustomed to now. When we work a little farther down, then we've got her belt, little pops of the color in the red there. Now the belt definitely has some weathering. This is something that she's worn quite frequently. So,
well, it's a belt.
Yeah, exactly. But the metal clasps around it, these are not shiny. They've been dulled down a little bit with additional use. This is her suit may change, but she's always going to be armed up.
I would say this is, I think, as far as Black Widow suits go, when you really see the red and black, the highlighting of that, this is where the outfit, I think, sort of shines optimally, because she is really sort of leaning in. With Infinity War, it was kind of a sort of down the, they were being secretive. They were secret Avengers at the time. Now she really has a time to sort of own that vibe. And this is, I think, the first time we really got the best version of it.
Yes, exactly. Now I'm going to raise one of the arms so we can see the holster rigs that she has. Okay. Now this belt and these holster rigs are attached onto her. There is a bit of mobility, but this is not something that would be removed. Nothing on the suit is one that you remove. It is a very tight bodysuit. So this is not a removable thing. Follow those instructions.
Oh, Guy loves him some instructions.
Follow those instructions. But there you go. The wrist gauntlets. Get a little shine there on her. There we go. There we go.
That's where she keeps her sting.
Yep.
Black Widow sting.
Sting. Just really, really nicely done. And then let's work our way down and take a look at the boot.
God, I really like the texture of that costume.
Yes. The boots have been sculpted. These are done in a plastic this time. These are not done in a leather, but you can see that stitching and the intricacy in those. The bit of wear on the heel.
They look like leather.
Yep, they're definitely looking like leather in these. Now, because they are a molded piece, they are a solid molded piece. So this doesn't have an articulated ankle that we sometimes have in it, but that's okay. I'm fine with it being that way as long as I get that look, because her boots and her outfit are really very, very specific, and so I'm fine with having the look of it and that being more exact than
shout out whoever the painter was.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to that, because the texturing on those boots is fantastic.
Yeah, you get that slight gloss of leather, not incredibly shiny, but definitely.
So would you have preferred an ankle joint in that, or do you think that?
I will say, it's always nice to have an ankle joint. However, with a boot like this, for you to do it, there would have been a visible seam, which would have then taken away from the screen accuracy of it. Or I would have had to have it kind of look drooped down. Yeah. And so I would have lost that sleek look that you have on the boot. So I'm fine with not having that articulation point, but having a realism.
Yeah.
I prefer that.
I would assume that there was probably a lot of speaking sort of behind the scenes on which way to go about it. And
yes.
It seems to me like I think they made the right choice.
Yeah, I don't doubt that there was a lot of back and forth. But since we have those shoes up, let's spin back.
Look at that. We got Shred Watch, baby.
Boom. All right.
At that. That is a unique.
That is a
tread.
unique,
Yeah, there it is.
unique tread. I mean, yes, this is a bit of a high heel. It is a boot, but it is also a bit of a hiking that you get on that.
Yeah.
All right, which I think is great.
She's working on that chunky wedge of the heel.
There, thank you. That's a chunky wedge. I knew there was a term for the shoe, and I think I've probably purchased those before. I mean, not for myself, but
why not for yourself?
yeah, exactly. If I find the right chunky wedge, I'm going to go for it.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you what, man. Your calves will pop.
There we go. There we go.
You know?
The added height. All right. So now let's do a little bit of, well, you know what, Jeff, I'm gonna let you decide. Would you like to look at accessories, or would you like us to look at how her posability is?
I'll tell you what. First off, I want to get back on her face sculpt because I really want to take a look at that because it really is fantastic. Can you turn her so we can get the profile as well?
I am going to show an articulation point as well as do a turn.
We might as well then do articulation because and go with the accessories second because I want to go for those.
But there we go. Let's take a look. The nice part is now you can see in the ponytail because it's directly against that black, how that, like we said, the Infinity War. Take a look at the hair. There's the softness of the features that are Scarlett Johansson.
I don't think we've seen sort of an evolution of a fantastic sculpt as much as we've seen in the Scarlett transitions here because they've always been good.
Yes,
this one is just unbelievable.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, this has been this character and her portrayal of it, and its work in the figures has really been a unique one to watch. Wow, they really got it. Wow, it's even better. Wow, it's even better, and it just keeps upping the game. And this one here really, really nails it. I love the blend of the color with, I like now that we see this the reddish and the white and the grain of all of the different hair coloration.
It really does sort of it really pops the character out in a way like the Infinity War Hot Toy Black Widow was absolutely fantastic. It looked just like her. And you wouldn't think it's sort of like the way we view a lot of the Leia stuff where you're like, how are they going to bump it up? How are they going to amp it up? And they do. And so this is I think a really good example of that. I like that suit too.
Oh yeah.
And that where they have it, it's like, cause it's that sort of like meshed armor feel to it. So it's not like a spandexy vibe or like a even leather, because as far as armor goes, leather is, if we've all played role-playing games, we know leather's pretty early.
Yep, it's very early, but you love that on it. When you're speaking of the outfit, and again, why it looks so great on this is this is also, not only do we have another head sculpt, but we're also doing a whole different new body sculpt as well. So just the proportionality of it is that much better as well.
Yeah,
on that, and really.
See, like the knee pads, like it looks like kind of, it has a vibe of like sort of motorcycle protection, that like you protect your knees, you protect your spine, because you've been through it. You have shoulder, she has stuff on her shoulders there to protect her, the shoulder pads, and that all is sort of practical. It gives sort of the motion. The designers did a great job because you have the motion of sort of the joints, but you also have the protection of the pads, and I really think they nailed it from both the movie perspective and then following up the toy perspective.
Yes. Now let's take a look now that we're here again, showing off that the way that braid can move and how naturally it lays. The pack that holds her staffs on there, when you lift here, you're going to see that kind of elbow, or the shoulder pad will actually raise up. These are all printed.
Can you pull the ponytail to her front so you can do that? So yeah, okay, there we go. That's much better for the view. All right.
You'll see how those kind of go up. All right. It'll look great when we put her side
Do the
arms.
pads do the pads prevent 90-degree bend in the shoulders?
Because this is one of the tight suits that we've seen, it will kind of push back. It'll give you a bit of resistance. So I can go up, but I'm going to get a little bit of resistance down. So that's about right there. A little under 90 is what I can get. A little under straight out there.
All right.
Okay, but I do have that forward and back on the shoulder.
Does it have that rolling joint that we've been?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because this is a snug suit, and we've seen, and we've seen these in some of our others with the snug suit is, go in small motions. It doesn't mean that you are limited in range of motion, but
just be careful with it.
Just go slowly through. But I can go.
I'm getting a vibe physically of almost like a Scarlet Spider when we did that one. Like, is that a similar suit sort of texture?
Yes, exactly. Okay. Now, because and I'm glad you bring that up, because this is that type suit and a 3D printed suit, this is one that perhaps we're going to get questions on. I know they are going to tell you about it, that leaving in extreme positions, or if the suit is next to itself, snug like that, okay, that's another point of it. For a bit of time, you're going to want to be cautious, okay, about what it is. But if she had the fists, we could do more of the Jeff boxing.
I mean, pull out her hands. Does she have fists?
Yeah. Oh, yes. We'll look at that in our accessories.
So then there we go.
Now
oh, that's a Muay Thai pose right there. Oh, she's doing old-timey stretches.
Old-timey stretches.
And side bends. Stretch it out. Stretch those obliques.
Well, I mean, you look at how athletic this character was in all of her fights.
Yeah.
In the thing.
Real wonder.
There we go. I've kind of turned to the side. I'm going to spin the figure as we go so you can kind of see how I've given it that slight bend. Okay, we're going to straighten this back out, and we're going to talk about our hip articulation here. Quite a bit. Now, that suit does give me a bit of pushback, and I also wouldn't leave it in a super wide stance like that for too long, based on the nature of the suit. Yeah,
I would say just like if you are a longtime watcher, like we have sort of expressed with the Spider-Man things, that yes, you have the ability to do dynamic posing, but we wouldn't suggest holding those dynamic poses for too long, because the suit is still material. It's still closed.
Exactly.
It's going to sort of either sort of push the pose down, or it's going to sort of mold and form. There it is.
Correct.
I got a word out.
There you go. Now, that's the front extension on it. What I wanted to show, and this is, we've got some good lighting on there, is on the knee, because that is a printed piece. I don't have to worry about it. It stays just where I need it as a knee pad. And I definitely like her in any kind of kick phase. She did quite a bit of
She's a kicker.
The kicking, indeed. Now again, when I'm going to be doing any, say, the deep to the side, remember, I don't really have too much of the ankle, but I can still get very good wide stance.
I would say that she is, because of the ankles, I have a feeling that if you're going to be doing some form of action pose, that this is the time when the base and the holder that we use, sort of prop holder, that's really going to come into play for this piece. Yes. Okay.
So there we are on kind of what we're looking at articulation wise. What I'd like to do now is show off the accessories that she comes with, arm her up, and then we'll answer questions, try a couple of the pose things as well. So I'm going to move her off to the side here, and we're going to talk about all of the different bits that she comes with. I'm going to lay these down on our turntable. These are 3 ways in which her staffs are shown. One is just the little handle. One is the staff itself, and the other is the staff connected. All right, so we're going to spin these to show them all off. If you're using just the handle, those slide into the backpack.
Oh, cool.
Like so.
Well, that's cool.
Okay, like so. And there we are. So they'll slide in like that. And I'm going to do a little inversion to show you that they do stay in there nice and snug.
Let me tell you something, Guy. Here's how stupid I am. This is how much of a Monday guy I am right now. You're being like, there's just the handles. I thought to myself, now why in the heck would they put just the handles in there? And then when you're like, because they go in the backpack. And I was like, I'm an idiot. Yeah, that makes 100.
So, obviously, if I'm going to pose her with them out, I would want to remove just the handles. But you do have them for back there. All right? Then we have our individual handles and then our combined handle.
Yeah. So normally I think we see her most often with them as sort of the batons more than we see her as the quarterstaff, right?
Correct. Yeah. More frequently those. And let's show off the hands that are going to come with it, and then we can show that those hold them. Okay?
Yeah.
We have both right and left, and these are repeat.
Yeah.
And we have our closed fist, our grip, and our trigger that I am going to call them. And let's slide those around like so. Okay? So our right and left, and then our rights each have
There it is.
that there. Okay?
Trigger fingers, we've got baton hands, we've got fists.
Yep. We've got the baton hands. Now these are a softer rubber, so I have no problem in putting the batons in it. Okay? So what I'll do is swap out one of her hands here and put my baton hand in like so.
Do you suggest putting the baton in the hand before you put it onto the body, or do you suggest putting the hand without the baton and then putting the baton in?
You know what? I think you can do either. I've already got it in there, and so I'm not worried about it. But yeah, I would do it with it, just because that way, because I've got it in there, when I'm kind of twisting and to get it onto the peg, I'm pushing and holding, and it's gripping the baton a little better.
Yeah. Okay.
So there.
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson beating the brakes off you with a pair of those things.
Yeah, I mean, not really your best day. But see, then what I'm gonna do is I will, in the back, leave the other one still in there.
She half committed.
Well, she's not really destroying on me. So there we are on those. And because we said our next hands are going to be for our weaponry, let's take a look at her two pistols. Okay.
Are those little? Are they Berettas? What's the?
I believe so.
Glock. I can't really.
But let's take here's something kind of fun. Yeah. They're articulated back.
Oh,
that's
cute.
And it's spring loaded. I mean it springs back into position. So now here's one you could choose to do is the clip from each of these guns actually comes out as well. I don't have the best fingernails for this right now, but there, boom.
I have been informed by my independent research that she uses a Glock.
Glock? Take a look at that. And, yep, you can even see the round.
Are you kidding me? Okay, that's so you could literally do a pose of her like.
So yeah, if I wanted to do a pose, I could have a pose in the right hand with this, and the left hand. Let's see. I'm trying to see what I would use for that best. Left hand.
Like a palm hand or something.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, the palm could be the under. Yeah, you could palm under.
Here's how detailed that piece is. I was expecting to be like, and now we can take out all of the individual bullets.
Exactly. And now here's every round. But now that you've seen that, they will drop nicely into
Oh yeah, let's get in there.
holsters on the side. And these are a rubberized holster, and they kind of help to hold the gun in. As I showed with the back piece not falling out, if you do some action pose and you upside down, I'm not worried about those.
They're friction held. It's
Yep.
not magnetic or anything.
Exactly. Those are friction held. All right. And let's, because we've got it, we're going to remove that hand. Do a trigger hand on the other. Cass, how you doing?
I'm doing great. We have a handful of questions.
Excellent.
Yeah. So one of them that I've been seeing a lot of has to do with the fabric of the suit. Jake Jones on Facebook wants to know, is it similar to the Black Panther figure?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, cool.
Yes, it's it is a very similar, and what and by that is a 3D print. This is as well, where the texture of those is printed directly onto the fabric. So the caution and care that you take with that figure, you would also take with this as well.
Nice, awesome. Also on Facebook, Felix Camacho wanted to know what kind of material is used in the Black Widow suit.
It's kind of a rubberized spandexy. And there's so many with smaller scaled figures and fabrics. They're so cutting edge in those to know the actual fabric that they use. Sadly, I'm a little behind on what they would be, but might be able to ask somebody in our department here at Sideshow about what you use fabric-wise to get this type of look. But there you go. There's two different types of weapons there, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like she's ready to beat you or take you out from a distance.
You've
she's close range, long range.
Yeah, you've gotten into a rough spot. Now
we got our display base.
Yep, as you brought up.
Great.
Now, what again, we talked about this before, and this is they've continued through the line, is the individual symbol of the character, and then the Avengers symbol over it, and you'll see that there we go, caught the light, nice.
Oh, cool.
Is the Avenger A in all of these pops? Okay, that is your gloss, where the other has more of a matte texture, and that's where they have it underneath. So yes, they are all individuals, but
another cool thing about this too is the red and blue sort of you'd say like that constellation cloud kind of vibe that it has in there that we got from Endgame, that sort of spacey vibe that we get, and I like that they incorporated that into the base as well.
Exactly. What I think is fun about her, I know we're discussing and we've had questions about it, where it comes to the suit and dynamic posing and this, that, and the other. As much as I love a dynamic pose, with her character, you just do an arms to the side with her guns, with her batons, and this, that, and there is an intensity to it.
She's got a smolder in those eyes, man.
Yeah, and there's just it's about to happen type look.
Yeah, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah, this is not going to be the best day you've had.
Yeah,
and so that's what I dig on that, is there's even that kind of thing or something like this.
Now, for those of you who are just joining us or have just joined us since the beginning of the show, we are clearly looking at the Black Widow 6-scale figure from Hot Toys from Avengers Endgame. And of course, don't forget, if you like what you are seeing and you want to see more, make sure to subscribe, hit the notifications bell on our YouTube channel so you won't miss on any of our content. You know the thing. Now, we always have tons of events, live events going on as well. And right now we are gearing up for Sideshow Con from July 20th to July 26th. And we have a lot of things lined up for you there. So make sure that you not only hit the like, subscribe, notifications bell there so you can get all that information, but make sure you pre-register so you can have access to all the con exclusives from us and Hot Toys. We have giveaways, we have swag, we have sneak peeks, loads of other benefits. You definitely want to get in on that. Cassidy, I'm sure, is already on it, but if she hasn't been already, she's about to drop a link into that in the chats, or you can head over to side.show/con for all of the information that you need. And I know Guy and I are gearing up. We are amped.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So I'm really excited about that. I hope you are too. We haven't been given specific information for obvious reasons, but we are excited and we're foaming at the mouth. We are chomping at the bit.
I think that's part of the fun of con, is the not knowing. I mean, I have been, going to cons for a lot of years. And there's something about the I don't know aspect of when you go in and what am I going to see? And so to now be part of that in a very unique and special way here at Sideshow is really, it's very, very exciting.
Yeah, I picked up my Sith Trooper last year.
Yeah, you did.
At San Diego Comic-Con.
So this is, we've talked about the different hands, and I will swap some more out if we need. What I'll do now is I have preloaded her Glock, correct?
Correct.
Into one of the hands. And so I'm going to put that in, and I will then take and put my other staff. Push that into the back. I really dig that it's kind of just such a fun little detail that, oh, well, I'm going to have her with this. Oh, well, I'll put her other weapon back there. To have just the handle where, if it was the baton itself was the accessory and the weapon, well, sure, that would make perfect sense. The fact that I get the opportunity to do it that way is pretty fun.
It is pretty cool.
So,
you know what, Guy? It is fun.
Let's see here.
It's funny too. Like, can you do me? I like that. Can you do me a favor? Can you give me a hands crossed in front of her vibe? Sort of the vibe that you'd get from like those covers that you'd see by like J.G. Jones and Adi Granov, where she would have her almost like a vampire in a coffin, but holding the gun. So not down to the waist, but actually across the chest. Because I always get that sort of like I've always seen some of those classic Black Widow covers where she's really sort of like prepping up, and there's something almost spidery in the quality of that. I was wondering if she can sort of do that pose.
Okay, you ready?
This is just me yelling at Guy to do poses now.
I like when you do that. I really do, Jeff. That is something that to me is super fun. It's you and I getting to play with the figures together. Mm-hmm. Is this a little what we're?
Yeah.
Can we zoom in a little.
Tilt her head back so she's looking sort of much more forward, but keep that cross there. See, now that to me, there's an essence to the character of the Black Widow that I really sort of get that vibe from this, and I think about those classic covers, and when I say classic, I mean not recent, within the past 20 years of these really great sort of espionage thriller books that we got from Black Widow. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, there's a lot to do with the character, but man, that's cool. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad that that's a pose that you chose, just so we can see just how tight you can move the arms in your range of motion and have that.
Go on. Yeah, that's a good one too. Man, I like that. Yeah, if I was doing posts, I know I'm guessing that the market for this and the people that are really really excited are Avengers collectors.
Yes.
And I think that this, you know, when we look at Endgame and we see that Natasha came about as an almost, you know, kind of a leadership role, that she was sort of the sort of nexus, center of sort of the galactic avenging initiative that they had in the beginning of there, to have that sort of solemnity and the fact that she really couldn't let it go more than anybody else. Everybody else moved on and she didn't. So that sort of seriousness that she brought to the role that we hadn't really seen from Natasha in previous versions of the character, I think we're really excited. I'm personally glad we got to give her a piece that really pulls that.
You know, she was always kind of an outsider. You know, she wasn't, you know, she kind of was on her own and then became part of this Avengers family and then had that family taken from her. And I think that's why we see her just so wrecked by it. That's neat to see. This, what I wanted to do, and the reason I did the downward on this one here was to show that you have that additional in the neck that gives you.
Yeah, that sort of we've been having that like double neck joint.
Yeah, and I really like that. I'm going to spin it around so you can see the back of the neck a little bit. Yeah. The reason I do that is the not having that joint there is really different. Now, obviously, you're going to be wanting to show off the incredible portrait sculpt, but having the ability to do something like that.
She just dropped her peanut butter sandwich.
Exactly. And there's jelly on the floor, so there's a lot of cleanup. But beautiful work in there. Let's see. I know we've been asked about the ponytail. There you go.
Yeah.
The braided tail. Yeah, look at just those tiny moves, and
that sculpt really
comes to life each time that they do one of her. It just keeps getting better, you know.
They do. I do like the sculpted hair. I've mentioned it before, but I do really think it pulls this sort of character in a way that we can sort of capture her vibe more from Endgame.
Yeah, I think that is. You're right. It just gives us much more life in it.
Sculpt that when you look at the profile and you're like, geez, man, that's
like
fun.
Look at the there's kind of that daintiness of the turn up of the nose, you know, and the lip as well, and then just that braid and the coloring that they've chosen, and then how soft in the right way the hair is that's coming down underneath it being pulled back and braided. So
I was a fun fact. I was at the Captain America 2 press junket back in the day.
Nice.
My old job. I was a mommy blogger, if you can believe that. And one of the things that they had said in the junket, because it was with the Russos and everything, is that the plans for Black Widow were just so expansive, and the things that they were going to do were so exciting. And I was very excited to see how they grew that character through, and how the Russos sort of, not knowing the direction that they were going to be going as sort of being the new architects of the universe, but really sort of building that up. And I was really excited to see what they did with Natasha.
Yeah, I've really liked the character. I'm excited also for the standalone to see getting other things to
man.
So.
Yeah, I'm chomping at the bit at that one too.
Cass, are there any specific questions about? Wow, every time I peek at her on the screen, it's just so neat to see it. But are there any questions about Black Widow here?
Yes, we do have a few questions. Oscar on Facebook wants to know, is the staff plain black or is it weathered?
Okay. I'm going to pull out the larger staff, hold that up for you so you can see. No, this is a solid color. Gotcha. Not really a dry brushing or a weathering on this one here.
So it's highly tempered, but it's highly textured, but the coloring is
correct.
consistent
Yeah,
throughout.
very, very highly textured from the grips down to the actual kind of weaponized versions of it. But as far as a brushing of any sort, no. And I know that Jeff, you rewatched the movie. I did as well last night, and they are that kind of matte and solid black color.
Yeah.
Oh, when you see those, so
Well, because she hasn't been beating anybody with them for the
exactly,
past 5
she hasn't, been waiting 5 years to do it.
She got new ones for Christmas, but she hasn't been able to beat anybody down with them.
Yeah. You haven't been able to use those Christmas gifts. So go right ahead.
So HLL on Facebook wants to know, do you foresee that the suit will flake at all?
Okay. Great question on that. Do I see it flaking? This is the same question we'll probably get on like some of the specialty Spider-Man, the Black Panther, Killmonger, anytime that there's the 3D printed suit. Am I worried that it'll eventually dry out and flake? We've talked about this before to make sure that you're trying to keep it in a temperature controlled room or thereabouts. This is one that for myself, I like her in not necessarily static, but semi-neutral poses, I think is where she really shows a lot of strength. Strength in sculpt, strength in design, and tells us about the character. So what I would caution would be leaving something in a dynamic with something like this. There is a possibility that you'll have more wearing on it. But I don't.
Interesting, Guy. I was going to say too, but that Natasha in Endgame only has a minimal amount of action in the scene. It's really only the scene with Clint that we get action out of her.
Yes.
This one is sort of really carrying the brooding vibe that we all know and love from Natasha.
And I think that's why it definitely very, very much works that way. So I'm not concerned that the suit is going to just be sitting here. It's going to suddenly disintegrate. It's not so new a material that it's unknown what its wear would be.
Awesome answer. We had another question about the suit as well. Felix Camacho on Facebook wanted to know, does it permanently crease or does it crease at all when doing action poses?
All right, let's take a look at that. What I'm going to do is do a few. Okay, we're going to have cameraman Sam, super producer, take a look. We're going to look right here on our right arm. Okay, you're going to see that there is the fold there. That is natural in the suit. We're going to go to a full bend, a prep to punch, as Jeff May would be in. Jeff has done, if you've watched one of our other shows, Jeff did a great teaching me how to pose it, so I had proper looking punches.
I think that was with the Sideshow Daredevil, I believe.
Exactly. And it was really fun to have him do that. But now you are going to see, obviously, the suit is going to bend. But if you watch the film or in the real world, you move fabric, it does bend and crease. Now, as we've talked about, and as it'll tell you in the instructions, leaving it in poses like that for longer periods of time because it is a 3D print, and you're seeing that texture on there. Because of that, the possibility is there that will do it. There we go. She can crunch like nobody's just there.
Yeah, she got to do them. What do you call it? The jackknife crunches.
Yeah.
Really.
But if I'm going to have the legs high up, anything like that, anytime that the fabric is going to be touching against itself, you're going to want to be aware of it. But as far as it breaking down, disintegrating, I don't see that happening as much.
You know what I think is interesting about the character, and a subtle nod when we see that sort of the chunked out heel, because we think about sort of a heel in any way being relatively impractical for a fighter to have.
Correct.
And then you also think about how she learned how to fight, and she was taught how to fight in heels specifically. That's the program that she was in did with the young lady Russian spies. So it does make sense that her fighting style is sort of indicative and sort of rests upon the fact that she needs to have sort of that propped up heel that she would have. So even in the time when she's no longer sort of being stuck in that Soviet era form of fighting, that she still does have to keep that vibe because that's what she's learned.
Yes.
It just occurred to me. I was like, oh yeah, that does make sense why she would have to have a heel.
Yeah. It's you've become so used to that and doing it that way. She stands great on her own. If you're going to do dynamic or action poses, it's always usually a good idea to have the stand as a backup.
Yeah. Cassidy, what else we got? Anything?
We did. It's good that the shot's on her face now, because we had a request for a face close up. We also wanted to see a close up of the blonde hair. Just a little snippet of that. Ryan on Facebook wanted to see.
Okay, hang on a second, and we're going to see if Sam can zoom in even tighter. Sam, if you can please, we're going to go as tight as we possibly can on this portrait sculpt. There we go. Even if we can go a little tighter, somebody was asking about specifically the paintwork in the ponytail. Thank you. There's again, like I said, the scale of the zipper. If you look at some of the others, there's just such a great scale work. There's really nice tight close-up of the aging in that belt. That portrait is just a gorgeous piece of art that they've done with it.
I agree, yeah.
I mean, you'd have to sit there and watch them do it, but how many different shades of red have to be in that to give it that such a lifelike quality?
I would say that it's one of those things too where I think we really do take for granted the art departments and the amount of work that they put in towards sort of making these things look realistic. The stuff that you don't think of, which is the hair stranding, for example, the shadowing, the shading, and even when I was, back when when I was back at Sideshow and we were doing tours and things like that, to walk into the rooms and to see the painters and the amount of work and effort that they put into every single piece. And so while I haven't seen Hot Toys, I've certainly seen what the Sideshow team has done, and they are unbelievably skilled and unbelievably aware of what they're doing at all times.
Oh yeah. Now let's see back here. This is where we really talk about that hair sculpt and why it really works on this one here. Is just, there is a natural look to it. This isn't, it's just so beautifully done. And here's a little fun one. We're going to have Jeff, you're going to do a little bit of counting. How many earrings does Black Widow have?
Geez. I can barely see.
Okay. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4?
Is it? I don't know. But why would you? Why would you ask this question of me?
I just think it's neat that they've even gone ahead and done that, and they're little tiny loop earrings.
I wonder why that is.
But they're on there. Just in the one ear. Notice that when taking a closer look on it. But just that head sculpt is really great. This is my favorite that we've seen of this character since its introduction in
Iron Man 2.
Yeah, in all of its different figure work. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Cass, anything else?
All right, I have 2 quick questions. Killer Clem on YouTube wanted to know if we could see the box cover next to her.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and then while you're getting that out, I had a question for the both of you from Jamie Dewberry on YouTube. He wanted to know How often do you repose your collection?
It really depends on the figure. When I do that, some I keep a little more stoic. And some quite a bit more. Let me see. Should I spin it around and kind of have it at the same angle? She's looking the same way.
Well, now it's the back of the box.
Well, I know, but that's because I'm having to turn around.
I don't. I mean, my collection is interesting. I have. I don't have a ton of 6 scales, posable 6 scales. I only have a couple of them. I have a lot of I have the Sideshow Probe Droid, which is really fun, but it's not a terribly posable piece. But I would say I move them a little bit, but they're all currently still from the move. They're still in their boxes. So I got to get them out.
Different ones I pose more frequently than others. I think my Han Solos get done the most. He and Indiana Jones get moved around a lot because I want to.
So all your Han Solos are together?
Well, they're all in. Well, no, they're 2 cases. 2 cases. They're in multiple cases.
I guess they're not solo anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. The solo movie ones are in one.
So would it be Han's Solo or Han Solos? How would we?
I think solos.
There it is.
So,
okay.
But there we go. There's you wanted to ask about the box art. It's kind of fun to see. There we go. Angle of her.
That is so good, man.
And the angle of that. So that is a neat idea. Thank you for the question on that particular one. On would I put them next to each other? That's a nice look to
and
see
a good and I'm going to say this, a good finishing shot.
Yep.
Because it looks to me like we are about wrapping up. So all right, everyone, and that's you. Thank you so much for joining us because you have been an amazing audience. Now, don't forget, make sure to pre-register for Sideshow Con. It is free, and you get first in-line access to con exclusive special giveaways, swag, and so on. Sideshow Con will be the week of July 20th through 26th with an actual booth. Now, Cassidy did drop the link, and she's going to do it again right now for side.show/con. Now, as always, if you're interested in any of our giveaways, make sure you come and join our Let Your Geek Side Show Facebook group if you haven't already. I know I'm a member. Guy, you're a member as well, I believe.
Oh, yes.
We even post stuff on there.
Yep.
Now, this is a super awesome and welcoming group with tons of Sideshow exclusive news, giveaways, including our hashtag Stay in Sideshow treasure hunt. That's right. You draw a map to lead us to where you would bury your most treasured collectible for a chance to win the Thanos Deluxe statue by Iron Studios. The contest will be open until next Thursday, July 7th at 12 p.m. Pacific. I believe Pacific Daylight Time. Is that what we're in now? Cassidy will drop a link to that in the chats. Now, thank you all for hanging out with us. And you can actually join us tomorrow. Are you going to be able to join us tomorrow, Guy?
I am indeed, and I am excited to do it.
We have a very special non-Monday episode of Unsealed and Revealed that you are all going to be going bananas over. And of course, we will also see you on Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific for an episode of the Comics Hall with Amy and Paul. So if you are my comics people, which I hope you are, make sure you watch that show because it's fantastic. Guy, thank you so much for going over this amazing toy with me.
Thank you.
Cassidy, thank you so much for relaying all that information to us.
Of course.
And everybody watching at home, thank you all for participating. Remember, we don't have a show without you, and we are so excited that you are there with us. We hope beyond hope to see you tomorrow. Same bat time, just same bat channel. Is that
exactly
legal?
Same bat channel?
But come back tomorrow, and then come back Wednesday as well, because we got a lot of stuff. Sideshow is going to be killing it in July, and you need to make sure that you stick around. Thank you all so much for watching, and of course, don't forget. Let Your Geek Side Show. Stay safe and healthy and happy, everyone. Bye.